yet to master how to keep a woman happy long term. We have good days, we have bad days, and that is a question that has yet to been answered since the beginning of time. How do you keep a woman happy? Because it's in spurts. We get good long spurts, and then just one day it's like, damn, what you mad about now? Just always something. It's always something. And that's the joy. That's the joy of marriages and relationships. The ups, the downs, the peaks, the motherfucking valleys. Just trying to get that shit right. Trying to get that shit right. I like it. But that question still to this day, how do you keep a woman happy? Long term. Long term. Not in short spurts. And I ain't talking about the motherfucking honeymoon phase. I ain't talking about the honeymoon phase when you first. I have yet to master.
Now, earlier today, I'm pretty sure it was today, just came across my feed. Chad Johnson actually mentioned this. He was doing a show on ESPN. And he said the two most difficult things in the world are hitting a baseball and keeping a woman happy long term. And a lot of guys have this mentality. You tend to think that it's your job to keep that woman happy. And this is why a lot of times, guys, you tend to be attracted to women who don't know how to keep themselves happy. They already have deep-rooted, deep-seated issues that you probably want to take on yourself and fix on your own, because in your mind, you're Mr. Fix-It. You can accomplish anything. But it's not your job. It's not our job to make that woman happy. Provision, protection, leading, teaching, yes. But a lot of guys tend, and that's probably what Chad's, obviously, because I believe he recently got divorced. Obviously, that's still eating at him. Because I seen some clips of a nightcap show with him and Shannon Sharp, where he goes into detail about some other things about himself. Just like, bruh, come on, man. It's one thing, okay, you want to be open, you want to be transparent on your podcast, you want to let people in, this and that, but there's limitations. There's certain things. You saying that and telling the world that is not going to help you none. You might feel better at the moment, but that's not going to, because obviously, and a lot of guys fall in this trap, the reason that you're attracted to a certain kind of woman, you start to use that as a cover for like any shortcomings and red flags that you might come across during the time that y'all are together. Use her looks to blanket that over. It's the built-in excuse that you use whenever your conscience, that little voice in the back of your head, whenever that steps up and be like, you know what, yo, this chick ain't it, man. You need to duck out fast, cross the street as soon as you can. In order to quiet that voice down, you put the blanket of, look how fine she is. You cover up that voice with the blanket of, look how fine she is. Limus's blanket. And in the long run, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And Chad he probably realized it at the time, but now he's really realizing it. Like, it's not your job to make her happy. You're not a fucking circus clown. You're not an entertainer. You don't get paid. Well, you used to. You used to play professional football. But in your personal life, relationships, marriage, you're not a fucking entertainer. It's not your job to do that. And a lot of us fall in that trap, that mental suplex that a lot of these modern day women are trying to put men in. And it's seeping out through society, and you're seeing firsthand, real world time, Western civilization crumbling because of this mentality. It's a deep rooted mentality. It starts at the ground level of the family, relationships, marriages. And people probably wonder, well, why are you always talking politics now? Politics this and politics that. It all connects together. Because a lot of you think that a lot of these spaces and these RP talking spaces only affects dating and relationships and this and that, but it's more than that. Over the years, it started to affect policy and how things are being run, how the country was being run, i.e., how the country had been ran into the ground while they dangle these certain things, these distraction methods, get us thinking about other things that are not as important. So it's all connected. It's not one thing or the other. All of this is connected. And what I want to tell a lot of the dudes out there, it is not your job to make her happy. She has to be able to look herself in the mirror and want to do that and attempt to do that. Because when you are not around, because at some point, it's a self-reflection thing. You have to take accountability for yourself. If you're miserable when that other person is not around, then you might have some deep-rooted depression issues that you need to address before you even think of trying to get a man. And it's a lot of ladies out here, it's a lot of women out here that just don't understand that. Y'all actually believe and think that it's the man's job to make y'all happy. It is not. It never has been. If you need an outside source to make yourself happy, to treat yourself well, to love yourself, you are the common denominator that's the problem in your life. It's you. And when the analogy, like, I saw the clip of the sports show where Chad was talking about something. He was talking about the two most difficult things in the world: hitting a baseball and pleasing a woman long term. You see, his marriage, his ex-wife, that is still bothering him. You can tell. Because in his mind, he thinks, what could I have done to make that woman happy? Where did I fall short? Because my marriage ended because I couldn't make her happy. See, the whole time that he's thinking about, what went wrong and I know I could have did something to fix it so that we would still be together. You can tell he's still in his darkest moments when he's sitting at home by himself. You can tell he's still thinking about that. It still bothers him because he still doesn't fully understand. He still doesn't fully grasp that it's not his job. It never was. He can't even talk sports without bringing that into the spotlight. I mean, yeah, hitting a baseball is hard. And there's many other sports analogies you could bring into that. Now, personally, I'm kind of neutral on therapy and stuff like that. I think it helps some people it might help, other people it might not help. Chad might be on the side that maybe he should reach out to a therapist. Somebody he trusts that he could sit down, and I don't mean Shannon Sharp on a podcast because overall when you look at the macro, Shannon Sharp is about his business. That podcast is business. So you bearing your heart and revealing your innermost thoughts and things on that podcast, that only helps Shannon getting clicks and mentions and ratings on TV. That from the business side, that only helps him. That's not going to help you. That's something you're going to have to deal with on your own, whether it's a therapist, whether it's somebody offline, behind closed doors that you trust. You need to talk to that individual, those individuals, because you're doing too much on TV. You're doing too much on these podcasts, the things you're talking about. And there's a lot of men that's paying attention to you, and they might go the same route as you because you are famous. You were famous long before the podcasting and, you know, being on sports talk shows and stuff like that. You and Shannon. But this is not good for men at no point in their life. This is actually part of the problem. This boulder that men think they have to carry to be the sole reason that this woman is happy. If you're not around, she's not happy. If you're not doing or saying this in this manner and this way, she's not happy. And that's just one day, one moment in time. The next day, the next moment in time could be something completely different. What she wanted you to do and say yesterday to make her happy might make her unhappy today. Just goes back to, their nature is something you're trying. It seems like you're trying to change a woman's initial nature, and that's not your job. You're not supposed to change that. That woman will grow to understand her nature over time if she's willing to self-reflect. If she's willing to be the red flag and be a walking red flag into your life, you have to be able to identify that and let her know up front, like, yo, I'm not here to fix you. You have to want to do that on your own. Your happiness is not on me. But Chad probably, he's not